why do nearly all of us repeat the same destructive pattern?
Yes.
I mean, we know what we should do,
We
right?
do.
We read the books, we listen to the insights, we set these bold intentions, and yet time and time again, we find ourselves completely stuck.
Right back at the start.
Exactly. We feel lost or just mentally drained, and we're abandoning the very goals we swore were crucial to our future. What is going on there?
That's the universal question, isn't it? It's probably the highest stakes problem in the human experience. The frustration, it comes from knowing the path.
Yes.
You know you should exercise, you know you should save money, but you just can't seem to take that first step consistently. Or you take it and then immediately turn back. The emotional cost of that cycle it's immense.
It is, and I think that cost often shows up as this deep-seated belief that we're somehow broken.
Fundamentally flawed.
Yeah, that we have a character flaw that just makes us incapable of change or discipline. And that feeling of personal failure, it's devastating.
But here is the great hope. This is the core idea you have to let sink in right now. It is not a character flaw.
Okay.
It is almost universally a system flaw. Human nature shows us that your life right now is merely a direct reflection of your habits.
How you think, how you act.
Precisely. How you show up, how you allocate your time. So when you feel stuck, when you feel lost or tired, it's not because you lack motivation. It's because your daily systems, your default setting are working against you, not for you.
Wow. Okay, that distinction character flaw versus system flaw, that feels monumental. It sort of takes the guilt out of the equation and replaces it with a blueprint, a way to fix it.
It replaces shame with strategy. The message is clear. You don't need some grand external overhaul of your life.
Right. No sudden lottery win or change in destiny.
No. You need a fundamental change in the small, seemingly insignificant actions you choose to take today. You can rewire your entire mindset, not next month, not next year, but by changing what you do today.
So the philosophy is simple then.
Very. You don't get a better life by waiting for it. You build it moment by moment by installing better habits. And our mission in this deep dive is to unpack 10 of those core practices. 10 disciplines that will shift your identity, sharpen your focus, and, frankly, restore your energy.
Unstoppable systems. I like that. Because systems, they don't get tired the way willpower does.
Exactly. Let's start with the currency of our lives, the one thing we treat with the least respect. Our time.
And our energy.
And our energy. The first core practice is foundational. Habit 1, wake up with a purpose and stop wasting time.
This sounds so simple, but let's really dig into the damage that comes from just drifting. Most people I know, they open their eyes, first thing they do is grab the phone.
The day immediately owns them.
Yes, they're passengers in their own morning. There's no urgency, no clear reason for their actions. It's just autopilot.
And that passenger syndrome is the subtle killer of all ambition. You live in that routine, same thoughts, same excuses, same complaints, and then you wonder why nothing ever changes.
The day just slips away.
It slips right out of your hands because you started... It doesn't matter. You're basically outsourcing your focus to whoever emails you and notifies you first. And this day, these hours, they are a finite resource. They will not come back.
That idea.
Yeah.
That the day literally vanishes. That should bother us. It should really bother us. So let's ground this in that core philosophy you mentioned, time as currency.
Time is your life. It is the single non-renewable asset you have. When you waste time, you are wasting your life force. Think about it compared to money, right?
Okay.
Would you just give away your last dollar to someone who didn't earn it, to something that gave you zero return?
No, of course not. That would be insane.
So why? Why do we so easily give away our first and most valuable hours, the hours of our peak mental energy? We just hand them over to scrolling, to avoidance, to things that actively do not grow us.
I think it's because the cost of wasted time feels delayed. Wasted money hurts right now, but a wasted hour. The pain from that comes later, maybe years later.
And we have to flip that. We have to feel the opportunity cost immediately. The remedy is the intentional start. Success comes from decision, not from drifting. And that starts the second you wake up.
How, though, practically?
You disrupt the impulse. Don't grab the phone. Don't hit snooze. Instead, just sit still. Breathe for a minute. And ask yourself a really powerful, redirecting question. What am I building today?
Love that wording. Not what's on my to-do list or what chores do I have to get through.
Yeah.
But what am I building?
That's the key. Are you building confidence today? Are you building strength in your body? Are you building the discipline that your future self is going to thank you for? That reframing transforms a mundane task into an act of creation.
And that's where the motivation comes from.
That's where the fire comes from. Purpose provides the fire. You don't need motivation when you have a powerful enough reason. People who succeed, they move with a reason. They don't wait to feel good before they act.
The action comes first.
The action comes first, and the feeling of accomplishment comes later. If you keep waking up without a plan, without intention, you're just setting yourself up to repeat the same cycle. You have to own your morning.
Okay, so that sets the purpose. But purpose without structure, well, that's just a wish, isn't it? Which I think leads us directly to the next habit.
It does. Habit 2. Plan your day before the world distracts you. The moment your feet hit the floor, you become a target.
A target for what?
For everything. Everything outside of you is designed to pull you in 100 different directions. Notifications, emails, colleagues. The day immediately starts flowing based on everyone else's agenda, not yours.
That's the pain of reaction. You check your email first thing, and suddenly you're spending your best energy putting out someone else's fire. The important things, the deep work, it gets pushed to later.
And later never comes. The truth is, most people live in reaction, and that's why they feel so chaotic and overwhelmed. They're constantly trying to decide what to do next, which drains critical mental energy.
It's called decision fatigue, right?
Decision fatigue, exactly. Your brain has a limited budget for making high-quality decisions each day. Every time you have to choose, should I do this or that, you're spending that budget.
So the philosophy here is that structure is power. Planning ahead minimizes those in-the-moment decisions.
Precisely. Planning is how you set the tone. It's how you stay centered. It ensures you get the right things done, not just stay busy. And there is a huge difference. Being busy is a chaotic whirlwind. Being productive is forward motion.
But let me push back a little here. What about the people listening who are, parents, shift workers? People who genuinely have zero time for 30 minutes of mental silence in the morning. Is this advice realistic for them?
That's a vital challenge. And look, we are not advocating for an hour-long retreat. We're advocating for preloading your focus. Think of it like this. Your brain's working memory can only hold so much. Planning offloads all that onto paper.
So it's not about the length of time, it's about the act of doing it.
Yes. For the hyper-busy person, this could be 5 minutes the night before, or just 3 minutes right after you wake up. The goal is just to identify your top 3 priorities. The deep work. You identify them, and you schedule them, like appointments you cannot miss.
That removes the guesswork. You're not relying on willpower anymore.
The schedule becomes the commitment. And when life gets messy, and it will, your plan is the anchor that holds you steady. That consistency, that sense of control, is what builds the new identity. You become someone who is in charge, not someone who's always playing catch-up.
Okay, that makes sense. Purpose and planning build momentum. But that momentum is fragile, isn't it? It needs to be protected.
It needs to be actively defended. Which brings us to the next piece of the puzzle. We're going to jump ahead a bit to habit 6, because it's all about energy flow.
Okay.
Habit 6. Say no to things that drain your energy.
Oof. This is a tough one for a lot of people. The people pleasers.
It's arguably the most challenging habit, but it's completely necessary. The pain of energy leakage is so real. A constant yeses to everything and everyone.
Yeah.
It just scatters your focus, it dilutes your vitality, and you have nothing left for yourself at the end of the day.
We wake up with a finite amount of this life force, and if we spend it on draining conversations, toxic relationships, doom scrolling, pointless meetings,
there's nothing left for your actual goals. The core philosophy here is that energy is not infinite. It is your life force, and it's directional. You cannot pour yourself into your goals and into distractions at the same time. It's impossible.
Every unnecessary yes is a slow leak of personal power.
That's it. The biggest breakthroughs in life don't come from adding more to your plate. They come from strategically removing what drains you.
But there's this huge psychological barrier. We think saying no is selfish or rude. We're sort of programmed to be compliant, to be agreeable.
And that's the shift you have to make. Saying no is an act of self-respect. It's strategic survival. It's clarity. So many people are exhausted, not because they've done too much productive work, but because they've done too much of what doesn't matter.
They've allowed interruptions and obligations to bury their own ambitions.
Completely. The cost of people-pleasing is your long-term vision. That's how people drift away from their potential. So you have to start asking a simple, brutal question of every invitation, every demand. Does this build me or drain me?
And if it drains you,
you say no, not apologetically, with clarity and confidence. You have to guard your energy like it is sacred, because it is. It's the fuel for everything you hope to achieve.
Okay, so we've set up the external structure. We have our purpose, our plan, our boundaries. Now we have to turn inward, right, to the internal architecture that lets us actually execute all this.
The internal conversation. It dictates everything. Which brings us to habit 3. Talk to yourself like someone you respect.
This one is huge. The pain of internal abuse is, it's chronic for so many of us. That inner voice is so often harsh, critical, impatient, just merciless.
We listen to that voice. We would cut off a friend who spoke to us that way, but we let that inner critic run the show.
And we believe it instantly.
We do. And the philosophy here is that your identity language determines your life. The way you speak to yourself becomes the way you see yourself, and that controls what you believe you're capable of. You simply cannot build confidence by constantly tearing yourself down.
I can hear the counter-argument already, though. People will say, I have to be hard on myself, otherwise I'll get lazy. Kindness is complacency.
A critical distinction, and we have to make it very clearly. There's a massive difference between discipline and disrespect.
Okay, break that down.
Discipline is saying, I expect more from myself because I know what I'm capable of. It's firm, but it's based in belief. Disrespect is saying, I'm not good enough, I'm lazy, I'm a failure, so I'll never make it. One lifts you up, the other just wears you down with shame.
So this isn't about, fluffy affirmations in the mirror. This is actual mental training.
It's cognitive restructuring. You have to catch those automatic negative thoughts. The ANTs. They're habitual, they're unconscious, and they are destructive.
So when you hear yourself say, I'm so bad at this,
You have to stop. You interrupt the thought and you actively replace it. I'm still developing the skill. I'll get better. Or if you think, I can't handle this, you change it to, this is hard, but I've handled hard things before. Your mind listens to everything you tell it.
and that respectful self-talk builds the mental toughness you need for when things get difficult, when results are slow.
Exactly. You have to become your own most effective supporter. That deep confidence, it doesn't just come from external wins. It comes from the strong, respectful relationship you build with yourself. You have to know that you've got your own back. That is the internal shift that rewires the entire operating system of your mind.
Okay, so our internal language is supportive. The next big hurdle is execution. We can plan, we can talk kindly to ourselves, but if we don't actually move, nothing happens. This feels like the big one.
This is where the rubber meets the road. Habit 4. Take action when your mind says delay again.
Procrastination, that wall between who we are and who we could be.
It is the fundamental habit of hesitation, and it's sneaky. It almost always shows up dressed as logic. I'm tired. I'll be more ready tomorrow. This isn't the right time. It sounds so reasonable.
But it's a trap.
It's a trap, and if you don't challenge it, that voice just gets stronger and stronger, keeping you stuck in that avoidance pattern forever. The key insight here is what we call the action window.
The action window.
It is startlingly short, sometimes just seconds. Your brain, by default, will always seek comfort and ease. It will try to negotiate its way out of any discomfort, so you have to be quicker than the excuse.
You act, or your mind takes over.
Exactly. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need to feel inspired. You just need to initiate movement.
I find that the emotional weight of a task is almost always heavier before you start it. The longer you wait, the bigger it seems.
That's the classic psychological trap. And there's also something called the Zeigarnik effect. It says that our brains remember incomplete tasks better than completed ones. So every time you procrastinate, that task doesn't just disappear.
It hangs around in your head.
It lingers in your subconscious, consuming mental energy, creating this low-grade pressure and guilt. Delay steals more dreams than failure ever will.
So waiting to feel ready is the biggest mistake you can make.
Fundamentally, the mind wants safety, but the soul wants expansion. And expansion always involves some initial discomfort. You have to train yourself to take that first tiny step immediately.
Like getting out of bed the second the alarm goes off.
Or sending that tough email. Or doing the first set of a workout. These small, immediate decisions build undeniable proof that you're someone who follows through. When your mind says, do it later, you have to recognize it for what it is.
What is it?
It's a test of your commitment. And the only right answer is immediate, small action. Not perfect action, just movement. You have to act your way into change.
Okay, so we take action. But that only gets us to the halfway point, right? There's the whole other side of it, which is finishing.
The integrity of completion. This is habit 5. Push yourself to finish what you start today. Anyone can begin. Finishing sets you apart.
This is where most people quit, isn't it? In those quiet hours when the task gets tough or boring.
That's the moment. That's when standards drop, corners get cut. The deep insight here is about integrity and mental clutter. When you leave things half done, that unfinished work lingers. It's cognitive noise. It creates pressure, and it chips away at your confidence.
And it creates a pattern. How you do one thing becomes how you do everything. If you cut corners on the small stuff.
You'll cut corners on the big stuff. The internal mandate has to be non-negotiable. Your standards must matter more than your mood.
That's a powerful line.
If you break that contract with yourself, the promise to see something through, your self-trust just disintegrates. Every single time you finish what you start, you build this massive mental edge. You prove to yourself that you are dependable.
And there's a clarity that comes with completion. You don't realize how much energy is being wasted by your brain just circling back to all the things you haven't finished.
Completion closes the loop. It frees up that mental energy. And this is the deep mechanism of identity shift. You stop seeing yourself as someone who quits early, and you start seeing yourself as dependable, as a closer. Do it fully. Don't half finish. The feeling of being done is infinitely better than the feeling of stopping short.
All right, so we've built the internal structure, purpose, planning, self-respect, action, and completion. Now, how do we maintain it? How do we keep the momentum going?
We move into maintenance and momentum. The first habit here is about intellectual resilience. Habit 7. Learn one new thing that sharpens your thinking.
The pain of stagnation. It's so subtle, but it's devastating over time. If you don't train your mind, it just gets dull. It repeats old patterns and reacts based on old information.
You're running on obsolete mental software. The philosophy here is proactive growth. It's a necessity, not a luxury. You can't just wait for life to teach you everything the hard way, through pain and failure.
You have to seek it out.
Every single day, even if it's just 5 pages of a challenging book, a single deep idea from an article, a critical conversation. That small daily commitment is what separates those who evolve from those who just go in circles.
And this is literally changing your brain, right? Neuroplasticity.
Precisely. You are physically strengthening the neural pathways for critical thinking and adaptive reasoning. And that gives you a massive edge. It helps you adapt faster. It protects you from purely emotional reactions.
You start to see the difference between what's urgent and what's actually important.
Yes. And the confidence that comes from this is different. It's not based on what you've achieved. It's confidence via earned wisdom. It comes from knowing you've prepared your mind. The more you understand, the less you doubt yourself. You stay a student.
And that leads us to the physical side of maintenance, which is so tied to our emotional state. Habit 8. Move around to stop your mood from sinking.
A classic. Using the body to immediately reset the mind. When your energy drops, when your thinking gets cloudy, your mind can turn on you. And just sitting there makes it 1,000 times worse.
We wait to feel better before we move, but that's backward.
It's completely backward. You feel better because you moved. The body and mind are directly connected. Movement sends a powerful, immediate chemical message to your brain that you are not stuck. You don't wait for energy, you create it.
And we're not talking about a 2-hour gym session here, are we?
Not at all. We're talking about interrupting the pattern, a quick set of push-ups, changing your posture, a walk around the block, even just some intense stretching. You have to act before the low mood takes full control.
So it's a tool for emotional control, a first response mechanism.
It's a discipline. And the days you least want to move are, of course, the days you need it the most. That resistance is the signal that your mind is spiraling into stagnation. Movement is your psychological anchor. It's your emotional reset button.
So we're executing daily, but if we don't track it, if we don't see the wins, it can feel like we're just spinning our wheels. It's easy to get discouraged.
Which brings us to habit 9. Look back at today and ask what improved. This is about fighting the pain of unrecognized effort. If you don't pause to reflect, you miss the small shifts and you start to feel like all your effort isn't paying off.
And the philosophy is that reflection is awareness. It's not about judging yourself.
It's self-coaching. It's honest data collection. You are actively searching for progress no matter how subtle it is.
Like what, specifically?
Did I show more patience today? Did I choose discipline over distraction at that one critical moment? Did I get back on track faster after a mistake? Those are the real building blocks of character. And when you actually take the time to notice them, you start to believe in your own growth.
But this also requires a certain radical honesty to see where you messed up too.
It gives you the truth, not the convenient story you want to tell yourself. You see exactly where you wasted time or where you avoided the tough work. But that honesty is what creates real growth, because you know exactly what to adjust for tomorrow. You stop drifting and you start taking conscious ownership of your path.
Okay, we've arrived at the final habit, The one that, to me, seems like the gatekeeper to making all of this permanent.
It is habit 10. Stick to good habits until they feel natural. This is where almost everyone quits, right before the breakthrough.
The pain of that transition period, when it just feels hard and inconvenient and you're not seeing huge results yet.
You're pushing a heavy object uphill, and you stop, and then you're back at the bottom of the hill. The breakthrough happens after the boring repetition. It happens when you show up, even when it doesn't feel good.
The ultimate goal isn't just to do the task. It's the identity shift, right? When it moves from effort to automatic.
We are aiming for automatic excellence. That's the goal. You stop needing to convince yourself or negotiate with yourself. The behavior just becomes your non-negotiable standard, like brushing your teeth. That's where your real power is.
So that discomfort in the beginning, that's actually a good sign.
It's the most reliable sign there is. It means you are successfully breaking away from the old, comfortable version of you. That resistance in the test of your commitment. You are teaching your mind and body that this new standard is permanent.
And it takes time. Longer than people think.
Much longer. You have to push through the days when it feels tedious and when no one else sees the quiet effort you're putting in. Because that quiet consistency compounds faster than any burst of motivation ever could. Remember, you don't rise to the level of your goals.
You fall to the level of your systems.
You fall to the level of your systems, and when you stick with these habits long enough, the system carries you. That's when change becomes permanent.
Wow. We've covered such a profound philosophy here. We started with this idea that your life is a reflection of your systems, and then we broke down 10 ways to fundamentally rewire that architecture.
The core takeaway has to be that your life is being built brick by brick, not next year, but right now, today, through the consistency of these small, crucial actions. This isn't something to just think about. It demands immediate application.
You don't have to wait for Monday to start owning your morning or planning your energy or talking to yourself with respect.
The final challenge we offer you, the listener, is one of ownership. You are not passively waiting for change to happen to you. You are actively living it, creating it. You don't have to force these habits forever.
You just have to commit until the process becomes who you are.
Until doing the right thing, the productive thing, feels like your new normal, your default setting. Until the new system is so solid that it just runs on autopilot, carrying you forward.
That's real self-mastery.
Yeah.
The ability to trust yourself completely because you've proven time and again that you'll keep the promises you make to yourself.
So ask yourself this: who are you becoming? Not when the world is watching, but in those quiet, decisive moments when you choose discipline over delay. Because the strongest indicator of your future is simply the accumulation of all the promises you kept or broke to yourself today.